So now I'm going to move on to a transactional text. This question comes from Marlon. And the question is, how does one write a speech which is required in a transactional text? And what words should be used to indicate the points one is trying to express? Marlon, I don't understand the second part of your question. Please, could you tell me what you mean? Okay. So the transactional text that is the speech. In home language, it is 180 to 200 words. In FAL, it is 120 to 150. And here, you would plan it the way you plan any piece of writing. But it's not the same process that you use for a prepared speech that you are going to deliver. How do you write the speech? Exactly as you would before. You take the topic, you put it in the middle of the page, you generate ideas from that topic. So first idea, let's say the topic is violence. I'm trying to draw a fist here, and don't want that, I wanted some blood. Okay, so my topic is violence. Remember, you draw a picture. Your first point would be about, I don't know, the schools and the violence in schools, and you'd give some anecdotes about that. Then maybe you want to look at the link to bullying. Is it always the same? Is it linked, or is it associated but not always the same? And a third point, you've only got, if we're looking at the 120 words, say to yourself, a long paragraph is 80, and if we have a medium paragraph, a long paragraph is 100. Medium paragraph is 80, short paragraph about 60. That's already 140. I'm going to have to shorten it. Maybe a 50, a 70, and a 30. So maybe an introduction would be about 30 words. Then possibly violence in schools, I'll spend time on that, 70. And then link it to bullying for a 50-word paragraph. But I haven't got a conclusion. Okay, 40. I don't know, 20. So this is why you plan. I need a conclusion. Even if it's 10 words, I need a conclusion. Obviously, in home language, you've got slightly longer. So you could look at 80 times 2, and then an intro and a conclusion would still bring you, or 75. You need to plan. You need to think carefully about what you're going to write and how many words. And yeah, you need to think about the length, the focus. Why I like mind mapping is each line coming off the topic is a paragraph. That is a paragraph. All the ideas must be linked to that paragraph. If they're not linked to that paragraph, they don't belong there. Okay. So Marlon, how does one write a speech? It's writing any text, process writing, planning. If you are FAL, you can draft and write a version you can work on and rewrite. If you're home language, you usually don't have enough time. So Marlon, I hope that's kind of answered that. What I did is I took the topic out of the 2019, this paper. It's the last end of year, final paper for first additional language. Excuse me, it says the book club that you belong to is promoting reading among the youth in your school. The chairman of this book club has asked you to deliver a speech at the next school assembly. So as usual, you do your gaps. Let me get a brighter color. You do your gaps. So your genre is a speech. Your audience is the whole school. So you need to decide, I presume you're saying grade 8 to grade 12. Your purpose is to promote reading, and your style must be appropriate to your purpose and your audience. Now, try to be reasonable. remember that there are thousands of students writing this topic. And very often the speech or the dialogue is a popular topic. If it's in the exam, students tend to write it. So don't write something that the other thousands of students are writing. And don't write something that's insincere. So don't go, it is very important to read. As you all know, everybody will read for the rest of their lives. So I'm talking to everybody, from the little grade 8s to the matrics up there in the gallery. You must all read. Boring. So say to yourself, what would I say to the school? Maybe share with them a book that you read during lockdown and say, I finally managed to read a book. And it was well worth it because ba-di-ba-di-ba. Or I heard that everybody was reading books about plagues and viruses and watching movies about viruses. And I decided to read this book and I found it quite interesting. And why? And so whatever, something. Try, I think in a speech like this, I think you should share something very real to make it very lively, or your audience is going to be going to sleep. The only reason they won't be throwing tomatoes at you is that the staff are controlling them. All right, so how do you write it? You write it introduction, body, conclusion. It's the usual thing. But the content, you've got to think about writing something that you think is interesting and will at least appeal to your audience. And you are talking to the whole school, but don't talk down to the babies. They don't enjoy that. We call them the babies because we love them, not because we patronize them or we think we're superior to them. Okay, so I hope that's kind of given you some ideas there.